What's going on, everybody? Hello world. What's up, YouTube? Yeah, this is a sketchbook tour video, sketchbook tour number 2. If you haven't already, make sure to check out sketchbook tour number 1, alright? As you can see right here, I have 3 sketchbooks, and all of these are between 2002 and 2007. So yeah, they're pretty old. Let me go ahead and start with this one right here. So what we have right here is a angelic warrior that I was trying to do. Never got around to finishing it, obviously. And here we have Batman. And this is probably the only drawing of Batman that I've ever done. I'm not really big on drawing superhero characters. I mostly do like video game drawing, especially right now. But and even back then, I never really did a lot of superhero characters. But this one, I don't know why I did this one, but I was trying something different. And this is as far as I got with it. On this page, got a bunch of examples of eyes. You got a regular eye, a different type of regular eyes, looking down, mad at you eye, lazy eye, who the hell is that in the corner eye, nosy eye, this eye looks sick, that's going to bed, and these are clear. Yeah, I was supposed to fill this whole page up with eyes, but yeah, after a while I got sick of drawing eyes. This right here is a, what is this? This must have been a class assignment, because I don't normally draw architecture, that's just not my thing. As you can see, most of my artwork is mainly, characters. Whether that's a human character or some type of fantasy design, like a monster or whatever. I'll draw animals as well, and maybe some still life. But as far as buildings, landscape, vehicles, nah, I'm not into that type of stuff. So this definitely must have been like a class assignment that I never even got done either. Yeah, must have been back in high school or college, I don't remember. And again, guys, a lot of loose sketches in here. This guy is so tall, you can't even see his head. Let me bring him down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And this is where things get a little bit interesting. This must have been in 2004. I had an idea for, I don't know if it was a comic book or a movie idea. Must have been a movie idea. But it set place in some time in the future, and when the world is pretty much under totalitarian type rule, and you got these guys who are basically like rebels, who's trying to start a revolution and basically bring freedom back to mankind. Here you got a hacker. It's an acrobatic female warrior. She got this computer device that follows her around, and she pretty much kind of hack into the system and allow guys to get through, basically a high security areas or whatever. You got this guy who's like I call him the Juggernaut. He uses a heavy war hammer and a specialized shotgun. You got a samurai type warrior guy. You got a specialized Uzi and a long katana. Then here you got the leader. I don't remember what I call him, but he's just a mastermind behind all the operations and pretty much the whole organization. And here you got the juggler, he got this weapon that's basically called the Rod of Surprise. It's basically like a little pole that extends out into a a fighting stick. And on top of that, he uses dual pistols. And then here you got a ninja. You just gotta have a ninja in there. And then here you got this character called Showtime. Basically, when it's getting real on the battlefield, she comes in and just shut it down. You know what I mean? And she uses a custom-made assault rifle. And these were basically little small examples, before I go into detail into each character in terms of the designs. Because ultimately, that's what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to, redraw each of them in much more detail, on their own page or whatever. Which I started out to do with the juggler. But obviously I never got done. It's almost like a cross between Dante and Blade and maybe Gambit from X-Men. That's the idea I had. But yeah, I was back then. Let's stop right there. Yeah, so here we go straight from people to animals and monsters and whatnot. Here you got the classic traditional style Godzilla. And then you got the Godzilla that everybody loved to hate. Then you got what is this? I think this must have been from the movie Anaconda. Obviously that's Anaconda. And of course that's, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Front view, side view, 2 side views. And you got a raptor silhouette here and another raptor silhouette and a head of a pterodactyl. I love dinosaurs. Shit, I love reptiles. So as you can see, more reptiles. What is this? This is a reptilian warrior I drew, and there's another reptilian warrior screaming or howling, I don't know. And then there's another reptilian up here that's on a reptile type dinosaur thing. I don't know if that was for a story or what. And it's more reptiles. Is there more? Oh, that's just a reptile right there. This is in 2007, and this is a character I drew for a comic book that I was thinking about doing at the time. And please, guys, going forward, you're gonna see some things, and I know some of y'all might say, you should probably continue doing that. Nah, my mind is just not there anymore. So, yeah, I'm just gonna show you all the drawings, and that's it. And here we jumping back in time. This actually should have been in the beginning of the pad, but this is from 2002, and this was inspired by 2 things: the Scorpion King movie with The Rock, and a video game back then for the PlayStation 2 called The Mark of Kree. But yeah, that's what that was based on. Not based on, but kind of inspired by. So obviously this guy means business. He's big. Got all his weapons are huge. So could damn near take on the world, I guess, back then, Not now, but in his time. And here we get to basically when I decided to get into color. So yeah, this right here is when I had an idea of for a video game. This was a long time ago. I believe this was 2003. And yeah, I had an idea for a video game, and this was supposed to be the main protagonist. But boy, I got in trouble for this, man. This is basically Siegfried from Soul Calibur. And this right here is the Dragon Slayer from Berserk. It's like no creativity, no originality with the stuff I came up with back then. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I could have never took this forward anyway, which I don't plan to anyway. But man, this guy was loaded. He got this big sword, he got this gauntlet that had a lot of stuff in it. Had the claws. You could actually shoot arrows out of it. You got this mace attached to a chain that could come out, and it was actually attached to right here, and you could swing it around. You had this shield that actually comes out and extend, and it gets bigger. Sort of like what you see in, if you play God of War, the new God of War, that's, Kratos kind of have a shield like that. But yeah, man, this guy was loaded. It took place in a fantasy world. He's gonna fight a lot of stuff, dragons, trolls. Man, this game would have been fun. Just in my mind, like the imagination of it, like it would have been off the chain, man. And then the game, I don't remember what genre I had in mind, but I do know that it would have a lot of RPG elements to it, because these characters are supposed to be like his side characters, but you could actually play with them. And by the way, that's actually rock. You see, I just like the designs of Siegfried and Rock from Soul Calibur, from the first Soul Calibur. I like that so much that even with my own ideas, it's almost like I just wanted to borrow those characters. And yeah, this another knight with a sword, and he got this guy who's like a forest elf, and obviously he's an archer. So yeah, that's the whole crew, man. They got this character that's supposed to be like a mentor to the protagonist. Oh yeah, I blocked out everybody's name because I just thought the names were corny. And over the years, I'm like, I just blocked it all out. Yeah, this is sort of like a Obi-Wan Kenobi character. And also a character you could play with. This right here is obviously a Nightmare. I mean, look at it. I just drew this like a couple of videos ago. I drew Nightmare. But obviously I changed the outfit a little bit just to make it a new character. But it would have never flew, man, because the silhouette is pretty much Nightmare. Then this right here, I'll talk about that in a little while. Yeah, and I gave him this long black cape, kind of like Spawn or something like that. So this is where the bad guys start. And as the story was supposed to go, he was part of the bad guy allegiance, but he was done wrong, so he said, you know what, screw y'all, I'm about to just go help out the good guys. And that's where that went. And this is the first true bad guy, who is somewhat of a sorcerer. And you can see the style isn't even consistent, man. Like, coming from this drawing where the face is actually, the attempt for the face is actually to look real. But here I get to this guy and it's almost like obviously cartoonish. I think the style that I was working on with this guy was based off of Jack and Dexter. I mean, if you look right here, look at this, you can see that's pretty much the arm area for Jack. And I've just switched up a little bit. I mean, I had a lot of ideas, but I just didn't know how to be creative enough to just, appear original. So I just borrowed features from, elsewhere at a time. Or I just take a whole character and just... I was young, man. Obviously, I could never do stuff like that now. So, but yeah, this is a vampire character. He's also obviously on the bad side. His sword is actually inspired by, I think I had the idea from the Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, if anybody know that franchise. Perfect. In that franchise, the story kind of surrounds a particular weapon known as the Soul Reaver. And the idea was, just like how that Soul Reaver is like a blade that snatches the soul of his victims, this sword would just, draw out the blood of the victims for the vampire. And somehow he's symbiotically connected to the sword. So when the sword feeds, it actually feeds him. I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. That's the idea I had. And yeah, bats gotta be by a vampire. I don't know if you can see those I don't know if you can see those bats feeding. Okay, that's it. Oh, it's actually connected. This warrior was actually inspired by, I believe, Shao Kahn, I believe Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, just a little bit more buff and bigger weapons and stuff, and vegan. Yeah. If anybody knows Final Fantasy 7, or is it 8? I think it's 8. This is Gilgamesh. But I don't know what the name I had for him, but he was supposed to be a character for the story I had in mind. But I just like the way how that character from Final Fantasy 8 looks, so I just figured, hey, I'm gonna make my character look almost like that. And obviously, he has this thing right here, and remember in the last drawing, I'm pointing at it. Matter of fact, I can get it. Yeah, see the similarities? So as the story went, they're actually brothers, and it's a family thing, I guess. But he's not part of the family anymore. He pretty much renounced himself from that family because he was done wrong. So yeah, this guy is evil. I mean, he has a lot of power. He actually uses a sword, a shadow blade. It actually has powers. Yeah, and that's it. That character. Here we get to actual monsters. That's actually and keep in mind, all these bad guys are bosses, or supposed to be bosses in the game, and this being one of them. It's a dragon, and the idea that I had in mind was that you go through different dragons, smaller dragons before you get to this dragon, because this dragon is the business. So I figured, since I have a monster that rules the sky, why not have one that rules the ocean? And this is what this guy is. So this is another boss that you get to fight. And you fight him by the ocean, obviously. So all these bad guys are pretty much agents for this main villain that I never really got across drawing, because as the years went on, I just left this project. Okay, get this other sketch pad. I'll start with this one. You know what? No. Get through this one first. This one is from 2000. Yeah, dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. This one's from 2005 and to 2007. The other pad was 2002 to 2007. This one is from 2005 to 2007. So, yeah. This is obviously, I don't know. This is basically the King Kong movie in 2005, the Peter Jackson King Kong. Just a rough sketch, quick sketch of that scene. Kong gotta save his girl, man. Can't let my girl get eaten. If anybody pay attention to cinema, you notice the early depictions of T-Rex in movies and cinemas, they used to look like this. And even paintings you'll see of dinosaurs, they look like this. But as time went on, even especially with Jurassic Park in the early 90s, they just switched to this. I guess the fossil records, maybe showed a different story, so they, decided to just stretch them out instead of having them almost standing upright. let me get through this quickly. Yeah, it's a dinosaur. Yeah, you get the picture. And here we got a scene from one of my favorite movies of all time, The Matrix. From the moment he entered the lobby scene, put down the bag, and then it goes to the metal detector, alert the guards. I believe I did this for 2007. You know, I did this because, you know, I had an idea to go back to certain movies and kind of do them in a manga style. And I got the idea from reading a lot of Berserk volumes back then. So I figured, hey, why not start The Matrix? The whole point was to just do that whole scene all the way till, you know, they basically cleared that whole area and got to the elevator. Let's see it. Make sure I see from here. Please remove any tag item, keys, loose change. Holy sh! Bow! Huh? And then I'm just going crazy. And that's it for this book. I want to see that again. I might have went through that a little too fast. Start with this book. So you know this, like I used to see stuff like this in mangas, like in the Berserk manga. And Gatsu, you know, swing his sword, like you see like a little shadowy effect type thing. So I figured, you know what? You know, that would be cool to bring, especially with the Matrix. There's a lot of stuff like that, tricky visual effects that was done in the Matrix. Yeah. One of my, you know, is the best movie ever made by man, The Matrix. It's my favorite movie. And that's it for this drawing pad or sketchbook, whatever. And this sketchbook, I believe, was started in 2006. And you can see it's all dirty. Well, not dirty, but the tone is different now. Let me zoom out. So yeah, this is a model from some magazine that I had. Just a silhouette of this drawing pad was really focused on just understanding, you know, certain principles of art, like forms, basic shapes, the gesture drawings, loose sketches. That's it. There's not much detailed stuff in here, so it's not much. And this right here was like my first attempt into like anatomy, and I thought I did a good job. I mean, I had a reference from a medical site, and it was never this bulky. I just bulked it up like on a Hulk level just to make it more interesting. But yeah, this was also 2007, I believe, or 2006. Then with the same reference, I decided to put skin on it, and it didn't turn out too good because back then, obviously, I never had an understanding between, you know, shadow and light, and important to recognize where the light source is and where the shadow areas will be. Because here, you see that, if you see this white line right here, that kind of goes around the form of the pec. And even over here with the deltoid, that basically, you know, is showing that the light source may be over on this side. But that same white line, you see that on this side as well, in a different area. So it's like, where is the light source? It's just confusing, you know? So even back then, I felt something was weird about the drawing, but I just never knew what was the issue. Now it's obvious to be, and it's not a good drawing to me anymore. Yeah. lot of loose sketches. Trying to understand shadow and light. I don't know what this was supposed to be. I don't know if you guys could see it, but I think this was supposed to be a class assignment. We were all supposed to make like a superhero version of ourselves, and I made this. I decided to be the one superhero or character, comic character that nobody could beat. Everybody had their little powers and their designs, and then I come with this guy, and everybody was just mad, like, why you gotta play God, man? Why you gotta go all out like that? Yeah, I mean, like, look at this. This is a character that is supposed to be like, almost like the Phoenix from X-Men, but it's like on the, like, he exists on the sun. So, yeah, I'm not even gonna get into the comic book stuff about it, because, gosh, that's it, man. I'm not really that into comic books. But, yeah, this is what I drew. I was in the process of drawing a lion cub. Sorry. I was in the process of drawing a cub, and then I guess I just gave up. You see a lot of loose sketches, and you know, just trying to get a feel of the pencil and stuff. And that's something important I'm going to discuss coming forward in the tutorial videos. I've been, you know, a lot of people have been, you know, begging me to do, and don't worry, I'm going to get to them. But as you can see here, there's a lot of pencil marks, but it's not developing into anything, except for right here and maybe here and here. But that's the point, you know, to get good at art, a lot of times you just gotta freestyle. A lot of times you just gotta just put that pencil to the paper, and it don't matter what comes out of it. The point is just get used to just moving your hands and getting a feel of everything, you know what I'm saying? So that was the idea here that I learned, you know, just try to put the pencil down and make some type of mark. Oh yeah, that's Young Jeezy, one of my favorite rappers from Atlanta. And that was just a quick sketch of it. Here's some figure drawings or gesture drawings, I think. I think this was a class assignment. I think because we had models that came through to the class, and we just draw them, you know, draw the whole figure and stuff. I must have had like loose papers that I drew the other, you know, the models would change their pose like every 5 minutes or something like that. So I must have had like the other drawings on other papers somewhere. And this is me trying to understand the hands, because believe me, man, hands are not fun to draw. Jesus Christ, they're not fun to me. You know, so it's almost like a hit or miss situation with hands. Like either you get it right, or sometimes you just don't. I was trying to understand the form of a hand in these drawings. I actually managed to fill the whole page, so that's good, I guess. More drawings. Figure drawing, maybe of a model. These are eyes. After sketching out, you know, eyes, I decided to just go all in and shade, and then, you know, gotta have a dragon next to that eye, you know. This must have been while I was in class. That's all I could think. Yeah, I was extremely bored, and I just sketched up this dragon. That's what happened when you're artists and you're in a class and you're just tuned out. You just start drawing. It don't even have to be a sketchbook. It could be the old regular notebook. But yeah, this is a garbage bin that was in the class as well. And I drew that, sketched that out real quick. And we're almost at the end. And here we have a character that I developed. And this was supposed to be a comic book. But like the rest, I just never continued it. And I think that's it. Is that it? Yep, that's it, guys. Yeah. So, made it to the end with all these drawings and stuff. That's what it looks like after I went through all of that. Look at all that stuff, man. Going forward, I'll go ahead and start doing tutorial videos because a lot of people, like I said earlier, a lot of people have been begging me for those. Obviously, I'll continue doing time-lapse videos because I really love doing those. When I decided to start this channel, I only had in mind to, as a matter of fact, it was just supposed to be video game characters and then fantasy stuff only. But then the idea came and I said, you know what? A lot of the stuff you like drawing, like warriors and stuff like that, like fantasy type warriors like Conan and stuff like that, you know, a lot of those kind of they're kind of inspired by things that's real. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, you know what? Let me go ahead and just draw realistic warriors from ancient times, you know, throughout history to try to get an idea of the real thing and then the fantasy thing. That's what I had in mind. I don't know if it makes sense to y'all, but that's what I had in mind. I might have given the wrong impression starting this channel off, and you know, I'm sorry for that, because I feel like some people seem to think that this was, you know, just about historical warriors, and that's not what this channel is about. It's just me drawing. That's it. And I like to draw warriors. I like to draw fantasy warriors. I like to draw warriors from video games or, you know, mythology or whatever, because that's another thing. Like, you know, going forward in the future, I'll start to do a lot of mythological stuff. So maybe there you could probably see, you know, somewhat of a historical type style. You know what I mean? If I draw Hercules, you know, Hercules would look like a Greek, like a Athenian warrior. You know what I'm saying? So that's the closest they get to me going back to historical stuff. But as far as the whole point of this is me saying that the historical stuff is done right now. You know, because when like I said, when I started, it was supposed to be just 14 drawings. You know, from Africa, throughout Europe, throughout Asia, throughout the Americas, and it could have been more, but when I got to 14, I said, all right, I gotta cut it off because of time. And I wanted to get into other things and get those going. And then too, the interest in drawing historical warriors, I'm just not that interested in it. Anyway, I like drawing video game stuff. Like the Soul Calibur series I just got done, I enjoyed every bit of it. So, Drawnomix is just me drawing what I like to draw. And also right now, showing you guys how to draw. Yeah, man, that's all. I've been talking a lot right now, and I don't want this video to go on too long, and it's gonna be hard to upload it and stuff, because I got a slow computer. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, man, and you guys are awesome for subscribing to this channel. And you know, a lot of you guys I notice are artists as well, and don't worry, I got y'all. You know what I mean? Next video is gonna start a tutorial, and it's gonna be fun. So stay tuned. So once again, thank you guys, and I'm out.